Closing statement. Yeah. Forgot I'm acting in my own defense. Sure. All right. Closing. Closing statement. Did you know we still hang people in this country? Not a lot, but still. Last one was this guy called Billy Bailey. Bailey, like it's a life Bailey. In the 70s, he murdered an elderly couple in Delaware, but they were in their late 80s. I don't know if you can really murder someone that old. Kind of seems like you're just speeding things up a bit. Anyway, they gave him a choice between lethal injection and hanging. The needle said he didn't want to go to sleep. In the end, he refused to choose at all. They still hung him. January 10, 1996. Before he died, he said, "To ask a man how to die is more barbaric than hanging." Barbaric comes from the Greek word barbaros, meaning one who speaks a foreign or strange language which is not understood by another. Funny where things begin. What a bridge there is between us. Who knows if you even know what I'm saying? Lying can talk. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to be flip. It's just odd. Put yourself in my shoes. Someone tells you to speak the last words you get to say before other people decide what they think of you. What do you say? My mother loves me. I'm probably not that much different than you. I try and do good by people. And what would you say? I'm not sorry for Mr. Pace. The worms can have him. I'm sorry for his family. I didn't mean for them to hurt. I know they do, but that's life. I think you can only judge people by their intent. I intended to kill Mr. Pace, but he deserved it. The prosecution talked a lot about Mr. Pace's family, how much he loved them and all that. So Mrs. Pace testified, I felt bad for her. And they talked about all the charity work Mr. Pace had done. I don't know where he found the time. I met his wife and kids once at a company picnic. I liked Mrs. Pace. She was sweet. I know a lot of people who fake it, but you can always tell their smiles just ain't it all. No, she was genuinely interested in everyone. You answer one of her questions, she would ask a follow-up because she was listening. She was interested. Her oldest boy, I don't remember his name, was a bit of a dick, but I guess that goes with the territory of being young and rich. I didn't kill Mr. Pace, though, as a judgment on his character. I didn't take the summation of everything he had ever done and everything he would ever do and then decide whether or not he was a good or bad person. He wronged me. He wronged all of us. Wronged us in a way that most of us will never recover from. Sometimes your life boils down to that single action. I'm standing here because mine did. Mr. Pace isn't because, well, his did too. See, I've been with the company 12 years when it collapsed. I joined right out of college, first batch 8 people Mr. Pace hired. I worked hard. We all did. I always laugh when they talk about business owners working so hard to grow their business. Sure, Mr. Pace had some good ideas, and sure, he worked hard, but it was the work the rest of us put in that really made the company operate, made it grow, made it breathe. That made the millions for Mr. Pace. More money than most of you probably even dream of. Guess it wasn't enough for him. After the collapse, I did the math. There were 127 employees who had their 401ks of the company. The average age was 43. If you just include spouses, that's 203 people without any money to retire. If you count kids, 432. Can you imagine? Can you imagine all that planning, all that hard work, saving for the future, only to have to come home to tell the woman you love one day that it's gone? Can you imagine thinking you were secure, and then, can you? No. Well, of course you can't. Sure, you want his own peers. What the fuck does that even mean? Sure, you live in the same city as I do. That doesn't mean you know what I know or feel what I feel. And, yeah, that's a good point. Did I plan the murder? Sure. Wasn't very hard. I already owned the gun, so it was just a matter of getting Mr. Pace to invite me to his home and putting a bullet through his skull. If you call that premeditation, then you have a low standard for originality. I made sure. He called me over on a night when he was home alone. Told him I had found some financial records he should see in private. That piqued his interest. I didn't have a plan to get away or cover it up. I wasn't going to try and wipe my fingerprints off the gun and put it in his hand and make it look like a suicide note. After I shot him, I sat down at his kitchen table, poured myself a drink. Then I called the police. I didn't want Mrs. Pace to find the body. And I didn't care what happened after. I still don't. It's about that moment. He owed me. For all the money that came out of our retirement and went up his nose or into some offshore accounts or bullshit speculative investments, whatever it was, for 12 years of my life that I gave him, the understanding that I was saving for my future, he owed me. He didn't have the cash, so I took it blood. Because I know this country. We all know what would have happened. Even after the collapse, he could still afford to hire all the lawyers he wanted. And at worst, he'd be some white-collar criminal in a comfortable, low-security cell. 5 years, good behavior, out on parole, fucking free, man. Meanwhile, a kid who steals for TV is going to do harder time than a man who systematically robs his entire workforce in millions. For me, or since I can get in this Commonwealth is life without the possibility of parole. Roof over my head, 3 square meals a day, medical attention when I need it. That's all I wanted from my retirement, anyways. To be clear, though, that law is not the same as this justice. I'll say that again. The law is not the same as justice. Law is something the government is, a collective human construct, something you can't do in a set consequence if you do it for that much. Maybe I'm guilty. The law says you can't kill people. I killed someone. The law says I should go to jail for that. Justice, though, it's neither right or wrong. The government doesn't decide that. It's up to each of us to decide for ourselves what is right and what is wrong. It can't just exist in a vacuum. It can't be only what happened in the moment. Now, you have to understand the moments that led up to it, the sequence of events, the origin and the catalyst. The person I'll remember most from the company is probably someone you've never heard of. His name was Victor Walsh. He was the maintenance guy in the office. And the rest of us went home for the day. He'd start dusting, mopping, polishing, sweeping, a whole bit. For a while, I was working a lot of late nights, and I became friends. He was a smoker, had these beautiful stained yellow fingers, mid-50s, divorced, 5 years sober and proud of it. Had a couple of kids. Did a brief stint in prison, but worked hard. Took him a while to find a job when he got out. So when Mr. Pace gathered us all together, announced that the company was simply gone. That the doors were closing, would never open again, that we were all fired. I was in too much shock to notice anything else or anybody. I didn't see Victor's face. In retrospect, I'm glad. After police cut him down, coroner found that his blood alcohol level was massive. I figured he must have bought a bottle of his last paycheck, gone home, sat in the corner and drank. You know, I don't dream often, but sometimes when I do, I can almost see it. His eyes watery as he takes the step up. Slight choking bubbling, getting loose around his neck, kicking the chair out in a drop. The suicide note just said, "What now?" So that's what I was thinking about. I shot Mr. Pace. What now? That's what I was thinking about when I sat there and drank his scotch. What now? Terrific, we all make in the water. An eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. One man hung, one man shot. Seems fair to me. I may be wrong. I may be guilty. Is what I did wrong?